Hey, it's your boy Rassan,
Hey, it's your boy Kev.
and welcome to another episode of We Ain't Them. Before we get started today, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, today we're going to jump straight into it. We are going to be talking about Quiet on the Set.
Quiet on set.
Oh, right. It's quiet on set. You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
You know, we love to add an extra word on to
Oh, yeah,
everything.
yeah. You know, black people love to do
JC
an
Penney's.
added thing. What was it? McDonald's.
Right.
McDonald. How you forget the whole S that's there?
McDonald's.
McDonald. Yeah, it's just how it is. So yeah, Quiet on Set. So for you guys who don't know or who are afraid to watch it because you are a millennial and you feel like it's going to ruin your childhood, sorry. I'm going to give you guys a rundown about everything that happened in the documentary, the 5-part documentary, because the next one we haven't even watched yet, but we know the outrageousness that's coming with it.
About to be some shit.
Oh yeah, it's already been some shit. So let me give you guys a little rundown of what happened.
The documentary details allegations of sexual abuse, racism, and exploitation of child actors by Dan Schneider, a successful producer at Nickelodeon in the 1990s and 2000s. Former cast members of All That alleged that Schneider favored Amanda Bynes and pushed Katrina Johnson out of the show. They also claim Schneider created a work environment where sexual innuendo and inappropriate jokes were commonplace. Former cast members of various Nickelodeon shows said that they were uncomfortable with the sexualized content of the shows, including suggestive clothing and innuendo-laden jokes. Black actors on Nickelodeon shows said that they felt overlooked and experienced racial stereotypes. 2 registered sex offenders were employed by Nickelodeon in the early 2000s, Jason Handy and Brian Peck. Jason Handy was a former Nickelodeon production assistant and was accused of sexual misconduct with underage girls on the Nickelodeon sets. These shows included The Amanda Show and Cousin Skeeter. He used this position to groom and exploit young actresses by sending inappropriate emails and allegedly assaulted victims. Handy was sentenced to 6 years in prison in 2004 after pleading no contest to charges related to child sexual abuse. Brian Peck was a former actor and Hollywood acting coach convicted of sexually assaulting actor Drake Bell when Bell was only 15 years old. Arrested in 2003, Peck pleaded no contest to charges including oral copulation with a minor and was sentenced to 16 months in prison in 2004.
So now that you guys have gotten a little bit education on what actually happened in the documentary, how do you feel about it, Kev, honestly?
That was honestly one of the most disturbing documentaries that I've watched in a while. I remember growing up in my household, and I talked about this before on a previous episode, that I remember when I first found MTV and I was so excited. But in my household, my Haitian ass household, we were only allowed to watch channels 2 through 13 at certain hours. Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, and CNN. For a long time, those were what I thought was television. So Nickelodeon is something that I grew up on. Nickelodeon was something that I just loved. Nick at Night, all these other programs and stuff. So to really see what was happening behind the scenes and to really hear the stories and just the experiences that, my peers have, honestly, because we're all around the same age at this point, it's really disheartening. And it also brings up other and deeper questions for me about my childhood and how I looked at myself and how I felt about myself, and wondering if what was translating on screen, even behind the act, was really truly hitting me in my heart because I knew something, or, I couldn't realize it at that point, but I knew something was off. But it was disheartening.
I will tell you the straight up truth. Watching the documentary, it brought up a lot of facts that I kind of already felt, especially with Dan Schneider. I personally felt like he was a creep.
Mm-hmm.
But when you was younger, you don't realize a lot of this stuff. You just trying to enjoy TV.
When I was young, I didn't know who Dan Schneider was.
Exactly.
Like, I remember seeing the name at the bottom of the television, but all of that was irrelevant to me. I wanted to know what was Keenan and Kel doing. You know what I mean? I wanted to watch Taina. I wanted to go on ahead and watch,
the Amanda Bynes Show, which was a big one.
The Amanda Bynes Show was crack for me growing up. Literal crack. It was amazing. So again, Dan Schneider, who, like, I don't care who that is, some old man that's making money, but if this old man is giving me television shows, then great. That's all I cared about. That's what occupied my time.
I mean, that's what happens to a lot of us. Like, a lot of the TV shows are like that, where you don't really care about who the hell is doing it. You just want the shit to be done. Like, us as kids, we don't really give a fuck, really. Because in reality, we don't know that person. We really don't. So for us, it was just experiencing all these shows. But when you become an adult and you actually play back a lot of the shit that happened in those shows, you just sit there and go, what the fuck was going on? Like, what the fuck was we on? Like, that shit is, like, nasty. That shit is gross.
I mean, even in the documentary, it really shows Ariana Grande's growing up on Nickelodeon. And again, that's somebody that's very prevalent to us in today's age. Again, this global superstar that she is now, you know? And just to see what was happening there, crazy.
That shit was disgusting.
Crazy.
That shit is like, oh, God. It really is. And to be honest with you, as I got older, it wasn't like the documentary was the one that gave me a shocking revelation. It was just, as I got older, I just started to realize, this shit is not for me. And this shit is not necessarily for kids.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of this, like, the whole sugar and coffee thing was a good one, right? Because everybody could say, oh, yeah, that was real coffee and that was real sugar. No matter whatever they was putting, they should have never had that shit by their mouth at all. Like, that shit is just, that's too much. And to be honest with you, I don't mean to be an asshole, but let's call it for what it is. Slime in general is a nasty thing.
It's nasty as hell.
It's nasty. Like,
and as a kid, you were like, ha ha ha.
Like, and it ruins your childhood. It might ruin a lot of people's childhood, because I know kids that still play with slime and stuff like that. But the way Nickelodeon portrayed it, it was just not good, right? When kids play with slime now, it's something that it distracts you from the world and stuff like that. But the way Nickelodeon used to use slime is very gross. Why are you throwing slime on somebody's face? Why are you spilling it like it looks like a fucking cum shot? Like, it looks like a fucking money shot. And a lot of the times, especially in all that, especially in the Amanda Show, they would show so many of these things that look like money shots in hindsight. And that shit is gross. That shit is disgusting.
I really think about, again, being a kid. And like I said, like, I only was limited to certain television shows and certain channels, you know? I remember my parents saying, like, you watch cartoons because cartoons are for kids. And that's safe. And now I have to really go back and question everything that I was watching as a kid and being like, well, it wasn't safe. And then you want to talk about, again, you know, hypersexualization of kids being interested in sex at an earlier age or whatnot, you know? Is it these shows that our parents trusted for us that were our first introductions to that? Now we can argue it. We can say yes, no, up, down, left, right. However, again, when you're really looking back at it and you're seeing what you were watching as a child, it's nuts. Like, I wish I only watched Power Rangers at this point, Digimon and Pokemon, and called it a day.
You know what's interesting is that this came out, and then all I kept on seeing on Twitter is Gen Zers talking about, see, you guys went through some nastiness, and y'all always talking about us. Let me explain to y'all the difference between us and y'all in a big way. The big difference is that y'all are prevalent when it comes to sex. This shit is all in y'all face since y'all are born. Like, let's call it for what it is. All this shit is in your face since you are the day you were born. This shit, for us, this shit ain't come to light until we got much older.
Rassan, I'm going to challenge you on that. So you're saying that it's in their face since the day that they're born, but who are the people creating the content?
It's true. It is
It's
us.
us.
It is us. Yeah, you're right.
So you get what I'm saying? Like, it is us. We're the ones that are creating the content. So again, you have to go into consumption because we consume that as children.
Mm-hmm.
Those, innocent. Hold on, let me retract that. Those innocent, scenes that were happening there or whatnot. To us, we consumed that. We understood that the hypersexualization of within music, within culture itself. Again, like, let's keep it 100. We were watching whatchamacallit, BET Uncut.
Yeah,
We were watching that. So again, all of that consumption grew into us, and those people who grew up on like, I want to work in television, I want to work in music, I want to work in all this. We knew this was the base, and what's the term that we always know? Because everybody knew it. Sex sells.
It is. Controversy creates cash. This is a thing.
So I just think it's crazy, and I keep using the word crazy, but like, it's not. That's not even the word that really describe it. It's fucking ludicrous. It's outrageous. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand how child actors and actresses go on ahead and truly experience a level of this. And again, I feel like it has adverse and traumatic effects into, our adulthood and most of us as well. But
I mean, I'm glad that you actually mentioned that, because if you look at it in hindsight, I think of all the things that has impacted everybody. I think of Mary-Kate and Ashley. Look how crazy they look now.
But also look how they don't want to be in anybody's limelight.
Exactly. At this
They're
point.
gone.
Amanda Bynes is another one. Amanda was scarred. And I don't care what she's saying. There's no reason why a grown-ass man is that close to you. Shit is just so odd. And that impacted her. I don't care what anybody says. Jamie Lynn Spears was impacted.
But also look how with Jamie Lynn Spears, they ousted her the moment she got pregnant.
Exactly.
But you get what I'm saying? Like, that's the connection of it for me. Like, you guys sexualized her in the Zoe 101 show. And the moment that she got pregnant, it was a scandal. Jamie Lynn Spears pregnant. Dropped from Zoe 101. All this. However, this is what y'all were doing to her.
On purpose.
Like, it's nuts to me.
I ain't gonna lie. And they laughed about it, but I really want to go clap back at them. The Nets declassified. They have a podcast now, and they're talking about all the shit. Wasn't the main character, the female character in it? She was telling stories how she was getting passed around by the whole crew at Nickelodeon. What? Why? What? I get it, y'all teenagers. I get that, right? I get it, but it's a weird space that this shit was happening. Ironically, when it comes to Nickelodeon.
But we also see examples of this in other places as well.
On
right?
Disney Channel, we've seen it.
On Disney, if we're talking about entertainment television.
Because we don't really want to just stick on Nickelodeon and just say, oh, yeah, Nickelodeon's all bad. Because Disney is just as bad with all the stories we've heard. There's not been that many Cartoon Network shows, so it's not really like, it's a little bit different. But those two, Disney and Nickelodeon, those are the two that you've heard a lot of stuff. Fox 5 with the whole original cast of the Power Rangers with Billy, when, he was saying that he was gay, and they kind of tried to oust him and treat him less than. So it's not like this is nothing new. There's a lot of scandals in these worlds, and it's really affects us as millennials, because we look at that and go, we love this shit so much. Mm-hmm. We really did. And it just is really fucked up to hear stories like that. That whole Drake and Josh thing was fucking bananas. Mainly because prior to us knowing what we know now about Drake Bell was in these situations that was getting him into these sexual harassment situations, the physical abuse, all that stuff. And everybody will say, oh, well, he's grown, he should know what he's doing. But based off of what we was just told on this documentary, it kind of adds a little stem of, do you think that there's a possibility that added to it? It makes you think.
It's really hard for me to say because, I shared on a previous episode that I am a victim of sexual abuse, and in hearing his story and what he was saying, the effects that it's had on him, the therapy that he's had to get in order to come to an accepting place of it, the manner in, I think, in his story, the manner in which there was an adult finally present, which was the girlfriend's mother, who noticed the behavior and said, we've got to figure this out. That's a big thing because a lot of people, a lot of people have my story, which there was no adult who saw the behavior to stop you from that. And again, this is just one person's story. We don't know whom else he went on ahead and victimized as well. So to hear what he went through and to see him emulating that in his own way with other people is so hard to hear because I don't want to sit up on this platform and say, well, because you were touched, you're going to touch somebody else. I don't want to say that.
Correct.
I don't want to say that. But
it makes you wonder.
It does make you wonder because, again, he was a child and he was, sought after. He was groomed. You know what I mean? He was targeted. So I don't know what other adverse effects had happened from there, but it's just hard to hear. And again, as a person who sympathizes with that event, and I don't want to compare our situations because everybody's situation of victimization and abuse is unique to themselves. But it's hard to hear me say maybe. It's hard for me to say those words.
Yeah,
maybe.
I get that.
It's painful, to be honest.
I get that. I've been thinking about this, and as I watched the documentary and as I thought about it, it took me a couple of days to sit there and think about it. And everybody, we always say, where's the parents, right? And then a lot of their reasoning is, well, this is what my child wanted to do, so I wanted to make sure that they had the best opportunities. I didn't want to take that opportunity away from them. Motherfucker, you are the parent. I know. But this whole, especially the Drake Bell thing, is the biggest one behind it. That mother, I don't give a fuck what nobody say. You listen, you got to call it for what it is. There is no way you are allowing your teenage child to go stay with a grown man. Oh, because he has to go do this, he has to go do that. I get it. Your child is a celebrity and you want him to be great. However, that is not your family member. That is not somebody you could say you're close with, but it's not a good idea.
Okay.
And I understand that you could say, well, what about if you have a child and you tell your child to go to a sleepover? I was like, I would get why people would be upset, and I would be like, okay, I see your point, but you are inviting your child to go stay by a man's house, a grown ass man's house. Like, there is, I say this a lot because I see it so much, especially working at a school. It's like these parents give way too much leeway to the outside world. And it could cause a bad ripple effect on the child if circumstances aren't handled correctly.
Can I agree with you that a parent should have been present 100%? I can agree with you on that. But I think the part that you're missing and that you're forgetting that we saw in the documentary was that Nickelodeon did go on ahead and try to make sure that the parents were not on set, even though the law said that the parents had to be on set. if a parent, it was the mother of one of the black actors
No, I remember.
that was just like, no, I said I made a big stink. I said I was going to be on set. I wanted to monitor what's happening here. When they had him doing a scene on all that wasn't what I wanted or wasn't the best, I was told, come on, stop it. Don't ruin this for him. Those adverse effects of, again, you're ruining your child's opportunity. You're ruining your child's career. You see all the other parents to the back. Why are you going on ahead and saying something? Why are you making a big fuss? I feel like it was a situation that they were put in at that point. So it's hard to say where are the parents. And then if we're going to say the Drake Bell situation, do I agree with you that yes, the mother should have never let her son stay at a grown man's house? I 100% agree. But when you go into it again, you have to remember he was targeted in this. Drake said that even what happened was whatever the man's name was, Billy or whatever his name was, went on ahead, drove a wedge in between Drake and his father because he realized with Drake's father there, he can't touch him. So he went on ahead and put lies in Drake's head that your father's stealing your money. Your father's going to ruin your career. You're never going to be a star. You're never going to be this big Hollywood actor that you want to be, that you've always dreamed of because of your father. Drove a wedge in between him. While he was driving a wedge between him, went to his mother and was saying the same things. If you want his career to go great, you got to let me help. You got to get him away from his father. You got to do this. This was all a deliberate plan. To where this mother now thinks, okay, now I'm in charge of my son's career and I can go on ahead and make sure that he's good and that he's that. And this is the guy that, this man right here, that's the man that did it for my son. That's the man that cared about my son. That's the man that probably came to me and said, I view him like my own son or little brother or whatever the case may be. So now allow him. So it's like, okay, they lived an hour outside of LA. This man lived 30 minutes or whatever the case may be. He's only saw the best interest in my child. Let me allow this. Because you deceived me. And I get that the parents have to sit with that for the rest of their lives. If you see in the documentary, the mother's not even interviewed on camera to talk about her experience of that. And the only thing that I can conclude for her not being on the documentary is that this shit eats her up till this day. But if we're talking about where are the parents, this is a prime example of where parents need to go on ahead and stand on their ground. They got to stand 10 toes down on this. If it's going to ruin an opportunity for your child, at least you're saving your child. We talk about this and we talk about the R. Kelly situation. Where were the parents? Where were the parents? Where were the parents? This is a prime example of what happens of where are the parents. Are these grown men not going to the parents like, hey, the way that I need to work is I need you not to be here. I need to vibe. You know, we need to come to a musical consensus or whatever the case may be. And this is going to happen. And what happens? The child is bringing in bread. They're bringing in money that they've never seen before on this white network. We don't see black children. We don't see children itself where we come from in these places. So yes, I'm going to allow this to happen. I may have a bad feeling on the inside about it, but I got to let this go because this is what my child wants and it's helping my family. And this is the result of it. It's nuts. It's nuts. To compare it to even what happened in my life, whatever the case may be. My situation was I can't believe I'm about to say this. I went to go see my father. And he had to work. So what was the best thing for him to do? Leave me with a family member to be babysat. Because family's supposed to be good, right?
True.
We're supposed to trust them, right? Nothing can happen wrong with family. And boom.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but there are sick individuals in this world who go on ahead and believe these things and act on them. And whether it was sexual assault or your child being embarrassed or mounds of sugar being poured in your mouth on actual taping, and a producer in the back laughing his ass off because he's recreating all of his sick little fantasies on camera and getting money from that.
And getting massages. You can't forget the massages. The shit he used, the shit that Dan Snyder used to do is ridiculous. Oh, I need a massage. I need all this from writers. Oh, you need to do this so that we could give you your next scene. All this type of shit. Like, the fact that we always have to revert back to this over and over again is really sickening when we think about it. All because a kid wanted to be a fucking star. Because a kid wanted to feed his family. He wanted to start from young to make sure that his family never starved again. Or her. I'm sorry. Him or her. And for what? To be embarrassed, humiliated, assaulted, and have to deal with that trauma for the rest of their lives. And there's a whole fucking network, and I have to emphasize this, a whole fucking network that's just allowing this shit, whether they realize it or not. They could say, I don't give a fuck, I don't give a rat's fucking ass. They could give me that boo-hoo bullshit all they want to. Oh, we're not really in charge. You have a whole fucking network. So you know that you should know the ins and outs of your fucking network. That whole background check situation,
Yeah.
that's bad. That is a bad, bad, bad look on you. How is it that you know that somebody was a sexual predator and you still hired them? Oh, because the background check didn't go through. You have to do thorough shit when it comes to stuff like this. You can't play those kind of games. These are one of those situations when you look at, you can't let any little crack fall through. This shit, you can't do that. Because any little thing like this could cause what is happening now. You can't allow this shit. You got old videotapes. So nobody knew about these things going on. The network never knew about what was going on.
Let's keep
with
it
Dan.
100. We all know the network knew.
Exactly.
We all knew the network knew. But again, money is the root of all evil. They're talking about this man was making them bank.
Exactly.
Was making Nickelodeon bank. Every hit show that he touched turned into a classic. Talking about CNN reporting on this, Fox reporting on this, ABC reporting on this. What? So if this person is making me bank, why the hell am I going to speak up? Can I slide some things under there? Do I believe that, this person was a molester or whatever the case may be, but somebody who was in the ranks is like, yo, can you slide this application right there on the top? You don't just say that you did the background check. It's fine. Yes. They're never going to say that, but come on. How does that happen?
You know what upset me even more, I think what pissed me off, is that Brian Peck ended up getting only 16 months in jail. I'm confused. What the fuck is that? 16 months in jail for assaulting a fucking child, a fucking minor? Oh, well, he has to register as a sex offender. What? So this is just a game to y'all. This shit just, it feels like it proves a point that you can do this shit, you can get a little bit off, and you're fine after.
What did we say last episode? There's so many examples of white people doing extreme crimes and getting off easy. That man had letters of support from over 40 people, a lot of them in Hollywood. A lot of people going ahead and saying, I firmly believe it was Drake who pressured him into doing this.
You know what's funny? They didn't know it was him. That's the funny
Oh
part.
yeah, I firmly believe it was the young child who pressured him into doing it.
And now they're going to look years later, now they're going to go, oh, fuck, we fucked up bad. Because that's what they do, right? They don't want to get canceled because all their names are getting called out right now. And I've seen it. Everybody's like, oh, I regret saying what I'm saying. Oh, I regret saying what I'm saying. Why do you regret saying it now? You meant what you said. You got to stand on business. If you feel like that's how it is, then it must be something in your mind that makes me believe that you think the same way. It makes me believe that you seriously think the same way.
All right, Ashton Kutcher.
You must, because if this shit happens to anybody can fucking do it, right? This could happen to you. So you could just see a child crossing the street and you could start licking your lips. Yeah. No, that's not how the fucking world works. Oh, they walk that way, so I was so it made me interested. What the fuck? Come on, like y'all.
Again,
white people specifically at this point, because there was a lot of white people.
It was.
Are y'all on drugs? Is it? All right, wait, hold on. Is it crack? Is it meth? Is it heroin?
Or is it privilege? Sorry. Or is it privilege? Is it privilege?
You said nothing.
Is it the fact that I'm able to stand in these rooms and have this high paying job and call it a day? Is it the fact that I can have my salary, but two women who came on as writers in the room had to split a salary? Like that was legal. Like that was legal.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is it like, what is it that when I'm at work, I'm being consistently accosted, consistently harassed, consistently made to feel uncomfortable because this producer who holds the fate of my career, because he is the highest grossing child television producer itself, so he's asking me for a massage, so I have to massage him? Is it fair to me as the actor? Is it fair to me as the black actor? I want to bring up this point. Is it fair to me as the black actor to have to go on to hair and makeup and be told I have to be made to look like charcoal?
Right. I remember.
I have to be put in a leotard that's exposing to me. But hey, I'm on all that, so I can do that. I question now, and then here's a point I want to bring up. I question now if I've always felt through television, especially Nickelodeon, because I said I grew up watching this, because this is all I was allowed to watch, that I was made to think of myself I was made to make myself smaller in spaces with white people, because I only saw one or two of us on television. And yes, it was a representation. Yes, it's somebody I can see on TV and be like, wow, that could be me. That's me on there. But to see the roles that they're given and the humiliation that they have to go through, did that affect you, or that make you feel that way? You know, like it causes me to think that. Because there wasn't much black television out there at that time. Yeah, of course, UPN 9 started to come up, you know what I mean, when we were, going into our teens or whatever. But if we're talking about literal television growing up in the 90s, we had that.
True.
That shit is crazy to me.
It is. So, with everything that's happened, especially with the documentary coming out, let me just ask you, in what ways can the entertainment industry do better in protecting celebrities' mental health, their emotional health, and just making sure that things are better for everyone around?
I don't think there's anything that they can do. I'm sorry, and I don't mean to sound like a pessimist when it comes to this. I think that it starts with ourselves. It starts with the parents. Your child's talented. Make sure that talent isn't worth more than their soul. Make sure that their talent isn't worth more than that paycheck that you're getting at the end of the day. Make sure greed doesn't come into it. When it comes to the studios and everything, make sure that you have mental health professionals there. Make sure that you have people that are looking out for signs of this. Make sure that you're checking in just to be like, hey, like, how do you feel about that? Are you okay? What's going on? Are you stressed? Invest the money in that. That's what makes the most sense. 100%. Greed can't be at the center of what's happening here. But again, it starts with the parents. It does. It 100% starts with the parents. And then again, for those people who are young actors in Hollywood, like, look at the examples and don't turn into that. Like, don't let it turn you into that. Don't turn into a Britney Spears. Cause this is still messed up to this day. And we grew up we grew up watching that. We saw the height and the fall.
Yep. From Mickey Mouse Clubhouse to now.
I mean, look at Lindsay Lohan. Nuts.
Yeah.
100% nuts.
I'm a
Orlando Bloom. No, what is
Orlando
it?
Brown.
Orlando Brown. Prime example.
I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave him.
I'm gonna bring him up.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna bring him up.
It makes sense.
Orlando Brown.
Yeah.
Because again, when we have a lot of white examples of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't see a lot of brown.
I think it's nice that you mentioned Orlando Brown, but I'm gonna top those. The Massey family, Kyle and Corey. Oh,
Are they defending him?
Oh, of course they are.
They're defending him.
Of course they are. Of course they would. That family is. There's a whole thing about that goddamn fucking family that I just can't fucking stand. But to answer my own question, the reality is that this is going to be a everlasting thing. And you know why? Because what was an episode that we did last year? The strike.
Oh, yep.
There seems to be a problem in the entertainment industry where people don't want to give up the money. People don't want to give up the benefits. People don't want to do things that just make things better for everybody. You know why? Because the rich want to just stay rich, which is stupid because if you give everybody what they need, you will stay rich. I don't understand why there's this common thing in general. This is not just an entertainment thing. This is a people thing where everybody can't eat equally. Everybody has this thing where I have to be above you. You can't eat like me. You can't be like me. Mm-hmm. You can't even get this. This is all my privilege, and you can never get this.
Whose privilege?
It all depends, because I'm not. Because we could try to say this is. We can't always say it's a white person thing, because this is a thing all around.
But it starts with patriarchy.
It does start with patriarchy, but still, at the end of the day, we still, as generations go, we have to want better for everybody, and that is a big problem.
And I agree with you. We want to have. We have to. My bad. We have to want better for everybody, right? However, if we're talking about examples that are shown to us, and the example is shown that this works, and that I can stay on top, and I can keep what I have here, why would I do any different? It's people like you and I who go on ahead and we create this platform for ourselves to have these discussions. And then also outside of this platform, we have conversations with our peers, our friends, our family about this. And we are able to go on ahead and collectively go into another generation with brand new ideals and values and stuff to grow our next generation of. But it's going to take a lot more of that to happen. We have to have those conversations. I'll tell you this. It wasn't until after I watched that documentary that I understood why my two friends that have a kid go on ahead and they literally monitor everything my goddaughter watches. And they used to be like, yo, that's OD.
Nope.
I used to say like, yo, that's OD.
Nope.
Like, why is she only watching Polly Pocket or, Doc McStuffins and all this? Like, she's grown. Like, she should be able to. Hell no.
Nope, not in this world.
Hell no. Which is why, again, God bless the parents of America. God bless the parents right now, especially if your parents are a little black or brown person. God bless you.
You nice about America.
Because
I just say the whole goddamn world because at this point,
but no, for real,
Jesus
like God bless you,
Christ.
because for real, the way that you have to be meticulous because of what you grew up in and what you've seen in the world and what you have to now protect your loved one from, that stress, that crown that you have to wear, I applaud you.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I think that growing up, we lived in the perfect bubble. I think that we lived in a perfect bubble. I think the gaze of what was media then in television, movies, everything was so aspirational. But to grow up and to watch these documentaries itself that are released about what's truly happened really breaks my soul. And it like I said before, it makes me question a lot of my identity and what I've seen and what I've experienced growing up. However, knowledge is key and knowledge is power. So if you haven't watched the documentary, I would encourage you to do so. Warning, very triggering, 100% triggering. But again, knowledge is power. And I feel like now that I can kind of go on ahead and burst my bubble and to truly see the picture ahead of me, I can now go on ahead as an adult in today's society, really go on ahead and shape the way that I think and I act and the way that I can support parents, I can support the next generation that's coming up and really just be the change that I want to see. But yeah, that's my final thought.
To all the networks that saw us grow up, that we saw grow up together, who knew the shit that was happening behind the scenes, I know y'all don't feel no shame because y'all making money behind it, but y'all should. Because you not only fucked with a whole generation of child actors, young adults, you also fucked with the outside source of your audience.
Yes.
You really did, because we are thinking everything is so innocent, everything is so cool, everything behind the scenes is so fine and so great, and you could make a lot of these people feel like they're inspired to be something, but then you feel like this is going to cost you something. It's going to cost you your livelihood. It's going to cost you your body. It's going to cost you your sanctity. It's going to cost you everything and anything just to make the almighty dollar. So I thank you, Disney and Nickelodeon. Terrific job. Terrific fucking job. With that being said, I'd like to thank my co-host, Kevin. Don't forget to comment, of course, because this is a very intense conversation. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Definitely check us out on YouTube. Definitely check us out on Instagram and TikTok. We really want to see how this goes, because this is going to be something that's going to be talked about for a while. And I wouldn't be surprised if more shit comes out. It's just how the domino effect is. I've been your host, Rassan, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Later, y'all.
Later.